Now, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Jide Gamu, Hinkley Thunderbird class of 2004, who delivered a keynote address this year. We are honored to have him with us today to share some words of wisdom with the class of 2023. Jide Gamu is a senior leader in the U.S. Army, specializing in human resources and personnel management. In 2004, Jide served as a Human Relations Commissioner in Aurora, Colorado, and worked as a youth and college director for the Colorado Alliance for Reform and Education. He established Barbershop Talk, a program promoting discussions on community issues. Jide enlisted in the U.S. Army in 2008, serving in various roles, including a deployment to Iraq. He later joined the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and became the president of DIA's Junior Enlisted Advisory Council. He currently resides in Stafford, Virginia with his daughter Leilani, and continues to inspire soldiers to exceed their perceived limitations. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Jide Gamu to the podium.
I was surprised he said my name right. Good morning. Oh no, listen, before I get started, I'm gonna have to do a pulse check here. I get feelings off of emotion and motivation in the room. So I'm gonna say who, and I need you to respond back with a loud and boisterous who in return, as if this was a Bronco game. Who? No, I need to feel this a little bit more. Y'all need to get a little bit more excited. We're here to celebrate. I said who? Now we sound good. Good morning. You know, first and foremost, I'd like to show some appreciation and thank Ms. Farr, Mr. Padilla, and Ms. Bolton and the principal and vice principal for providing me with this opportunity to share in this significant occasion. As a 2004 graduate of Hinkley High, rest assured this is a snapshot memory in life that will not be forgotten by anyone here today. No matter how old you get, this will always feel like it just happened yesterday. Graduates, I want you to take a second and look around and give a round of applause for all the family members that came here to support you today. And everyone here, look at your neighbor and say, to accomplish great things, we must not only dream, not only plan, but also believe. That is a quote by Anatole France. But I'm gonna remix that quote just a little bit. And I'm gonna place it in this order: dream, believe, plan, act, and grow. Now, listen, as I go through this and something touches you, feel free to say something. I feel that energy. Dream. To dream coincides with purpose. Identify a problem worth solving and ask yourself, what were you placed on this earth to do? If you could fix or change one thing in the world, what would it be? Ensure that the problem is so big that when you pitch that idea to the little critter board of thoughts in your brain, that there's no room for fear or doubt. Side note, right? Graduates, from this point forward, while you're dreaming, keep in mind, in life, you must do what you have to do before you can do what you want to do. Because nothing in this world is free, not even love. You sleep in the bed that you make. Next is belief. Belief relates to faith. And faith's biggest enemy is fear. I encourage you to know your enemy like you know your cell phone number. And here are the 4 faces of fear so that you recognize it. Number 1, self-sabotage. Number 2, retreat. Number 3, to fight. And number 4, learn helplessness. Each of these will cause you to stop moving forward. Choosing to follow the path of safety will cost you opportunities that will often be far greater than the potential losses you may incur by a riskier path. The payoff for avoiding mistakes is often smaller than what you may gain from taking risks. Allow yourself to take calculated risks. Just as it's better to love and fail than to never love at all, it's better to be an imperfect achiever than to avoid the journey altogether. Next is plan. Plan with the end state in mind and then work backwards. To graduate today, you have to take a certain number of state-required courses and meet the academic standards in each class. Your grades are a depiction of your study habits. Your study habits describe your self-discipline, and your level of self-discipline describes your level of self-awareness. Today, you're able to show some appreciation for self and celebrate, but rest assured, the journey is far but over. The next one, act. Dreams, beliefs, and plans are nothing without action. Purpose is not achieved with what you know, it's achieved with what you do with what you know. These last 2 points are key, so I'm gonna describe them in 2 quick stories so that because I believe you'll remember them that way. Action requires courage. In my current military position, I travel throughout the Midwest speaking to various audiences and students debunking the myths of military service. In one particular class, in a different state, I asked a group of students, what is one word that describes military service to you? And one response was by a very educated young man that happens to look like me. His word was stupid. I asked him, what made you use that word stupid when thinking about military service? He explained to me the history of African-American men in the Army around the World War I era. He shared that more than 380,000 African-American men left their families during a time of extreme hostility, discrimination, to fight in the Army. When they joined the Army, they still faced that same extreme racial hostility and discrimination. In fact, when they deployed, they not only had to fight the enemy, but they had to fight and protect themselves from soldiers who were supposed to be considered their allies. When they returned home, thinking that they had earned the respect of the people responsible for the extreme racial hostility and discrimination, the African-American soldiers were then lynched at even a higher rate than before the war. He ended by saying their decision to leave their families and fight for the people who hated them was stupid. My response as a tear came to my eye was that you're right. They were stupid. But stupidity has the same definition as courage. To know that something may hurt you, but to do it anyway. To see danger and continue moving forward. Every single person in this room displays this courage every day. Parents display courage every day by allowing their babies to walk out the door to go to school, keeping in mind the number of mass shootings in America today. Regardless of if you're a single parent or married, it takes courage to fulfill your responsibility as a parent. I know teenagers tend to feel like rent-free roommates. I remember my mother she had 4 kids, and she had a rule that we couldn't drink the last of the juice or anything, so we would leave just a swig of juice. She never liked that. But it takes courage to hold your babies accountable for their decisions. We can't prepare the world for our children. We have to prepare our children for the world. Teachers and staff display courage every day they come to work, not knowing the emotional status of hundreds of students that they yet still strive to make them better citizens regardless of the home that they come from. Today, we can agree that teachers and staff place their lives on the line every day. It takes a community to raise our children to survive in this society. Find ways to support your teachers and staff. Many of them are parents too. Not only managing their own children, but 25 to 30 of your own. Every day, all the graduates that made it here today displayed courage. It takes courage to stand up for yourself when no one else will. It takes courage to speak up for others when they can't speak up for themselves. It takes courage to try new things despite the possibility of failure. It takes courage to do the right thing when no one else is looking. It takes courage to say, I'm sorry. It takes courage to be yourself, to love yourself, and to separate yourself from people who don't. It takes courage to show up to school. It takes courage to be wrong. It will require that same amount of courage and more to accomplish and go after your dreams. The next time that you see a service member, don't thank them for their service, thank them for their courage. Because if it had not been for their courage, there would not be any service. Today and for many days in the future, everyone here is supporting you and thanking you for your courage. Last but not least, grow. There was a young man that was known to be the wisest in his village. He was so wise that many would say he was the wisest man on earth. Until he was told there were 3 who were wiser than him. Intrigued and encouraged to be the wisest man on earth, he set out on a journey to meet these 3 wise men. He wanted to meet them to find out what they knew that he didn't know, so that he could then be the wisest young man in the world. After 3 days' journey, he met the first old man. After an hour of questioning, he realized that he knew everything that old man knew and felt it was a waste of time. So he set out for a 5-day journey to the next old man. Like the first old man, he quickly realized that he knew everything that the second old man knew. Frustrated and tired, he set out and began on the 4-day journey to the last old man. Once he arrived, the old man welcomed him into his home, and after an hour of questioning, the young man once again realized that he knew everything that the third old man knew. He announced that he is the wisest man on earth, and this entire trip was a waste of time. The old man replied, well, you've come a long way. At least allow me to make you a cup of tea for your journey home. The young man discouragingly accepted. The old man handed the young man a cup of tea and began to pour water. And he began to pour and pour, and as that water started to overflow and the hotness of that water hit his lap, the young man jumped up and said, oh man, can't you see? The cup is full. The old man with a grin on his face said, aha, I got you. See, even I know that a full cup is useless. Socrates said, I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is I know nothing. Graduating class of 2023, this is not the end, this is the very beginning. Empty your cup and start refilling it again. Never ever forget where you came from, and of all the things I've said today, remember, never forget to come back and say thank you. I charge you to come back as a class 10 to 15 years from now and make the Aurora community better. If you allow me for a second, Miss Farr, if you will, come forward real quick. You got to move fast because, I'm on a time limit here. When I talk about saying thank you, Miss Farr and one other teacher, Miss Taylor, when I was in my senior year and it wasn't looking like I was going to graduate, Miss Taylor took me around to each and every one of my classes to make sure I got all my makeup work and said, you're coming in for lunch and you're gonna do all your makeup work. And then she said, you're a great speaker. She went down to Miss Harris, and I was in Miss Harris's class, and Miss Harris said, you need to join the speech and debate club. And I won so many speeches, but she found what my gift was. and she exploited it. And it's because of her I am here today. And so I've come back, and this is my opportunity to say thank you. And in closing, I am a soldier for life. Send me. Congratulations, and be safe as you celebrate tonight.